get asked all the time, particularly from religious Jews and religious Christians, which is yoga a religion? It's a very, very valid question. So be sure to stay to the end so you can get the full explanation. Let me start by saying that I am a very, very devout yoga practitioner, and I am also, as most of you know, Jewish. So that should begin to answer the question for you. But let me explain. So the original text of traditional yoga is called the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. And no, the Yoga Sutras have nothing to do with the Kama Sutra. Okay? Sutra simply means like a suture, a stitch, literally, a phrase instead of a sentence. So the Yoga Sutras is considered to be the quote unquote, I hate using this word, but quote unquote, Bible of yoga, by which I mean the ultimate authority on what is yoga. Now, I hate answering the question at the beginning of the video because it may not encourage you to watch to the end of the video. However, the short answer is no. Yoga is not a religion. Some people might say, yeah, but it's part of Hinduism. And the answer is no. Yoga is actually not even a part of Hinduism. First of all, by definition, yoga is not a religion. Yoga is a science, okay? It's a science, and it is a science of living. I'm coming to you today from Los Angeles, California, not from India, but I have studied and read the Yoga Sutras over and over and over again. So here's what I want you to understand. In the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, now, again, I use quotes because this isn't actually what they're called, but I like the concept because it's relatable. In the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, there are quote unquote 10 commandments. Now, they're not the 10 commandments, and they're not even called the 10 commandments. They're called the Yamas and Niyamas, okay? Literally the foundation for living. The Yamas are the abstentions, okay? It's the things we do not do in order to live our best lives in relation to the world around us. Again, I'm coming to you today from Los Angeles, California, now that 2 people have asked. So the Yamas talk about how we relate to the world around us. And the Niyamas, the second 5 of these so-called commandments, are about how they are the observances of how we deal with ourselves and or how we deal with the universe, okay? So I said that the Yamas are about how we deal with the world outside of us, but that the Niyamas are how we deal with the world inside of us. How does that relate to the universe? Because in yoga, we have the small s self, which is the egotistical self, that which separates me from the world around me. That is the self to which the Yamas apply. Then we have the big S self, okay? The big S self, meaning the capital S self, is the spirit that we share with the entire universe. That is an ego-free self, and the one that we use to connect with our higher power, with the universe. Okay, so we have these 10 rules for living, okay? Just so you're not confused about the word commandments, though some of them actually do align well with the biblical 10 commandments of the Judeo-Christian Bible. And by the way, I have a series that goes in depth on each of the yamas and niyamas on my Vimeo Yoga Superhero channel if you're interested in really finding out more about this code of living. Now, the first yama, if you've heard of any of the yamas and niyamas, is the one you've probably heard of. It's called ahimsa. What is ahimsa? Ahimsa is non-violence, right? It's a broader concept than that simple, but let's just leave it at that we are supposed to live lives where we conscientiously do not purposely hurt anybody or anything, okay? That's ahimsa. That's the first yama. So the first commandment. Now, if you skip all the way forward to the last one, the 10th one, which is the 5th niyama, that bookends this concept on the other end, it's called Ishvara Pranidhana. And that's the one that's going to be the most important and relevant to this discussion today. Ishvara Pranidhana means submission to a higher power. Sounds pretty religious, doesn't it? It is pretty religious. However, the word Ishvara is the word that is the most important when trying to analyze whether yoga is a religion or not a religion. Ishvara is a generic term for a higher power. It's not the name of a god. It's not the name of a deity. All it means is a higher power. And so in order to be a yoga practitioner, or if you really want to dedicate your life, a yogi or yogini, which is a much deeper commitment, you have to submit to a higher power, meaning you hand over, so to speak, your life to your God. Who is that God? It's whatever God you believe in. If it's Shiva, great. If it's Jesus, great. Allah, great. I'm Jewish, we just call the guy God. He's got a lot of names, but great. This is the beauty of yoga. It will bring you to and closer to whatever religion you do believe in, whatever God you do believe in. And if you do not believe in God, the fourth actually of the niyamas, which would be like the 9th of the 10 commandments, is called svadhyaya. And svadhyaya literally means reading scriptures or holy texts, which is convenient. Because if you are still searching for God, then you will find him or her or it. I don't know, like that there is a proper pronoun for God because God does not fit into any human construct. But by reading text, by searching, by always at least trying to find that higher power in order to submit. And this goes very hand in hand with the 8th step of the Ashtanga, not Ashtanga yoga, but the Ashtanga of Patanjali in the Yoga Sutras is the 8-limb path to enlightenment. Spoiler alert, it basically is be a good person and meditate a lot. And then you get to the final goal, which is samadhi. Samadhi means enlightenment or bliss. And yes, it means the ultimate connection to God. So this is a basic explanation. Just to review, yoga is not a religion. However, It is predicated on submitting your life to a higher power, bringing you closer to the God that resonates with you. Because here's the thing. Remember that I said the first of these commandments, the first yama, was ahimsa, nonviolence? Some people say that's the most important of this list of rules for living. And some people say Ishvara Pranidhana is, which is what I think. But here's what's interesting. The reason I think Ishvara Pranidhana, submission to a higher power, is more important than ahimsa is because if you dedicate your life and submit to a higher power, you will by default be practicing ahimsa. Because somebody who always has God in their hearts will always do whatever is the kindest, most moral thing that they can do with the information that they have been given. So I hope that helps to clear up this question. If there are any questions, I'll give it just a couple, 10, 15 seconds for anybody to type anything in. I'm happy to elucidate. Again, as I mentioned, I have in-depth discussions about the Yamas and Niyamas, one by one, the code of living, the 10 commandments of yoga, on my Vimeo Yoga Superhero channel. I'll be putting that in the description, and that will be a great way if you're interested in going deeper into this concept. This is Shana Meyerson with Yoga Athletica in Los Angeles, California. Remember, I always answer every question and comment that's left here on YouTube. So if this video has left you with more questions perhaps than is yoga a religion, feel free to pop it in the comments below and I'll get back to you. Have a great day and namaste.